Lord, everyone. Thank God for a brand new day. Happy Monday. I pray that all of you are doing well on this beautiful, blessed Monday. God is just so good. Just thank God for just keeping us, allowing us to see a brand new Monday, a brand new week, you guys. January the 19th, 2026. January over, y'all. I pray that you guys are enjoying your January so far. This first month of 2026. God is so good. I pray that all of you are doing well. Thank God for his new grace and his new mercy on today. God is so good. We have so much to be grateful for, so much to be thankful for. Even if we had a million tongues, it wouldn't be enough to thank God. It wouldn't be enough to praise him because he has been so good to us. He has been better than good to us, better than we've been to ourselves, better than anybody can ever be to us. God is so good. And there is nobody like our God. There is nobody compared to him. There is nobody greater than him. God is so good. God is so good. I pray that all of you are well. Happy Monday. Welcome to Motivational Monday. To those that are new and even to those that may be returning, welcome to Motivational Monday. God is good. God is good. God is good. And he is worthy of all the praise, all the glory, all the honor. It all belongs to him. So today was nice. I had a blessed, productive Monday today. So far, it was a blessed day, and I just thank God for it. God is just so good. God is so good. I just thank God for how He just always, just provides for me. Yesterday, oh yeah, so okay, so yesterday made 11 months for me since I've been unemployed. Yesterday made 11 months for me since I've been unemployed. But let me tell you, I'm not lacking anything. God has been taking great care of me. God has been providing for my every need and more. And I'm just so grateful. So be encouraged. Maybe some of you are on here today or may watch the replay. And maybe you are dealing with being unemployed, not having a job. Be encouraged and just trust God to take care of you because the way God has been taking care of me, he's been taking care of me better than a job ever can or ever will. I just thank God. I'm so grateful. Yesterday made 11 months since I've been unemployed, and God has not let me go hungry. God has not let me go thirsty. My lights on, my rent paid, my bills paid, everything. And so I'm just so grateful. God is just so good, and He is truly an awesome provider. He is an awesome provider, and He takes great care of His children. He takes great care of His children. So for those that are new to my channel, like I was just saying, yesterday made 11 months since I've had a job or whatever. And so I lost my job last February, 2025. They just didn't have any more hours to give me. So at first it was just they didn't have any more hours to give me and they didn't know, when they would have hours to give me in February. So the last day I worked was February the 18th, but then I did find out in the summertime that they didn't have any more hours for good. So they went on and let me go. They did let me go because they didn't have any more hours. But yesterday made 11 months and I have been looking for work and I've been doing my part. I did have a few interviews last year. Last year, I had applied to 30 some jobs, which may not seem like a lot because, I mean, to be honest, I'm not just applying to any and everything. So, yeah, I'm believing God for a specific position. I want to be able to walk in my purpose and use the gifts that God has given me. I don't want just to be at a job just for the paycheck, but I do want to enjoy what I do, just like I did at my last job, right? So, yeah, out of those 30 some jobs that I applied to last year, I did have a few interviews and I just didn't get a yes. The few interviews I did get rejections, and then other jobs, some of them I never even heard back from. You know how you apply, you just don't hear back, that when you get ghosted, that type of stuff. So, yeah, I have been doing my part, but in the meantime, God has been providing for me and just making sure I have everything I need and more. And I know God has an amazing opportunity for me, and I know it's going to be worth the wait. Rejection is just, God's protection. Rejection is just God's protection. And, I don't know what was on the other side of those jobs, that them 30 some jobs that I, didn't get last year. I don't know what was on the other side of those, why I got rejected. But I know rejection is God's protection. So I look at it like that. So I just look at the closed doors as a blessing as well. Just like we praise God for open doors, we also want to praise God for closed doors, right? We don't know what God was, protecting us from, when God closes doors. So yeah. So yeah, I'm believing God, like I said, I know He has an amazing opportunity for me, and I know it's amazing. I know it's going to be worth the wait. I know my waiting is not in vain, and I know it's going to be worth the wait for sure. Delayed doesn't mean denied, you guys. So be encouraged. Maybe you guys are in a waiting season and things are being held up and being delayed. Delayed does not mean denied. Delayed does not mean denied. Let's see. Hi, I'm Neri. Hi, VY Yates. I'm doing well. How are you? Let's see. Hi, Jaden. God bless you. I pray you're doing well. Happy Monday to all of you that are joining. I pray that all of you are doing well on this beautiful, blessed Monday. So I'm just encouraging you guys. I'm just sharing my unemployment journey that I've been on for 11 months now. God is so good. Just this past Saturday, I had like $29, in my account or whatever. I had $29 in my account. And so, today was grocery shopping for me. And $29 was not going to be enough for me to get all my groceries, right? But God, He just always provides. God had used someone to bless me on Saturday with some more money. So I was able to use, some of that to grocery shop today, majority of that to grocery shop today. So I just thank God, I was able to get all my groceries today. And I'm just so grateful. I'm just so grateful. God is just so good. He just always provides for me, making sure I have everything I need and more. God is so good. So yeah, I spent $53.82 at the grocery store today. So I definitely needed more than $29. I knew my grocery list was going to be more than $29. So, and God knew that too, and He provided me with some more finances on Saturday. And I was able to use some of that to get some, to add to that 29. So I'm just grateful. Like, God is so good. He just always provides, you know. So now currently I have $15 in my account, but I got my groceries. I got, my groceries. So I'm good to go. Let's see. Thanks for your support, Jaden, for sure. God is so good. Hi, Denzel. Happy Monday. I pray you're doing well. God bless you. So yeah, grocery shopping went well. I just thank God for helping me to, go grocery shopping and bringing me home safe, taking me out safe, helping me not to overspend today. Stick to my list. I just thank God for that. Before I go grocery shopping, something that I do is like I prepare. So last night I did my inventory, which means I make a list of the food and stuff that I already have at home, including snacks. And then once I do that, then I come up with a meal plan for the 7 days because I shop by the week. So I come up with my meal plan for 7 days, breakfast, lunch, and dinners, and also snacks as well. Once I come up with that, then I go ahead and do my grocery list, and after that, I get on the store website and price everything. And then I have my calculator that I use to add everything up. And so then I have my certain amount, and then that's when I head to the grocery store. So I did it last night so I would be prepared for grocery shopping today. So yeah, stick to my list. I got everything on my list. There was one thing on my list that I had to switch up just a little bit because one of the things on my list was broccoli, and the brand that I like was actually sold out. So instead of getting that, I just end up getting California blend vegetables instead, which they happen to be a little bit cheaper than the broccoli would have been. So that worked out, you know. So I still was able to get my veggies. I just made a little bit of a switch because California blend still has broccoli in it, but at least now I'm getting carrots, cauliflower, and I'm getting a variety of veggies versus just one veggie. So that worked out pretty good. So yeah. So yeah, my meal plan for this week is going well. This morning I had two slices of toast, honey wheat bread with a little bit of unsalted butter with 1 tablespoon of jelly, which is one serving. And then I did turkey sausage. And so I had that for my breakfast. That was 14 grams of protein. And then for lunch, I had two grilled cheese sandwiches on honey wheat bread, and then I had a 1 cup of a California blend vegetables. So that was 20 grams of protein. And then for dinner, I had like some chicken, the Tyson chicken strips. They have this new brand out now where it's like no additives and stuff like that, and they're all natural ingredients, and they're actually 20 grams of protein per serving. So I had that, and then I had a serving of California blend vegetables. So yeah, I had three nice meals today. So yeah, the Tyson chicken strips, this new brand, I don't really care for it too much. I kind of like picked through it, so I really didn't. I cooked two tenders, but I really didn't. I probably only end up eating one. I didn't really care for it too much, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be buying it again. I think I'm just gonna switch over to Just Bear because Just Bear is healthy. It doesn't have any added ingredients, bad additives and stuff like that. And then the same thing with the Purdue certain chicken strips and tenders don't have like negative high additives as well. So yeah. So just was making a switch because the certain Tyson chicken do have additives in it, and the one that I was eating has the additives, so I wanted to switch over to something different. And also the real good nuggets as well. I believe they're like all natural ingredients as well. So yeah. So yeah, I pray that you guys are well. And for snack, I do plan. I think for snack, I'm gonna do. Well, I think I'm gonna do the rice cakes, the natural, the plain rice cakes. Yeah, plain rice cakes with peanut butter. That will be my nice high protein snack. So yeah, sounds good. That would give me, I believe, like 11 grams of protein. So that sounds good to me. So yeah, today's meal plan went well. I have tuna fish in my meal plan for this week. I haven't had tuna in a while. So tuna fish is in my meal plan for 2 days this week, with some baked French fries. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having tuna. It's been a minute since I had tuna fish. And then waffles and turkey sausages in my meal plan for Saturday. So Saturday the weekend, and Uncrustables is in my meal plan for Sunday. For lunch on Sunday with the NKD Doritos. They don't have no artificial flavors and colors and stuff like that. No red 40 or yellow 5 or anything like that. So yeah, I just recently tried those last week, and they actually don't taste bad at all. Yeah, they don't taste bad at all. So I'm actually going to go ahead and eat those for now on and say goodbye to the red bag and the blue bag Doritos for sure. Thanks for your encouragement, Jaden. God bless you. So feel free to share how your day went. So I told you guys I did my grocery shop, and I also did laundry today as well. So I got that out the way. So that was good. I washed 3 loads. Not bad at all. I think the weather was like in the 40s here today. We did get a little snow yesterday. We got majority of rain, but we did get like a little snow. I would say maybe like a dusting we got. Yeah. So I pray that you guys are staying warm. I know tomorrow I think it's supposed to be like in the 30s here. But over the weekend it's supposed to be like in the 20s, I believe. And they're actually calling for snow here the weekend for here. So yeah, they're calling for like snow, like some serious snow. That's what they're predicting for the weekend. And I mean, it's to be expected. If it's going to be in the low 20s, yeah, that's cold. So yeah. I like snow. I just don't like having to go out in it. I don't really like going out in the snow, but looking at it from the inside and even just stepping out there to maybe take some pictures and coming right back in. But as far as me like really going out in it, nah, I don't want to have to go out in it. So yeah. Ashley don't have to go anywhere on Saturday. So I mean, if it snows, if we get the snow they talking about, I don't have to go anywhere Saturday. So it really don't matter to me. I don't have anywhere to go. And that's the good part about being unemployed. I don't have to worry about having to go to work, when we get like snow and bad weather. I don't have to still go to work because I don't have a job to go to. So that's one of the good parts about being unemployed for sure. So, enjoy the season you're in, embrace the season that you're in. Because I believe the season is whatever season you're in is temporary, just like the seasons in the natural when we think about spring and fall and summer and winter. I know I'm not going to be unemployed forever. So it may seem like it's been forever because I'm coming up on 12 months next month, but it's just a season. It could end at any moment. Any moment, God could open up a door for me to have a job again, any second. So, yeah. So I just got to be ready, when the time comes, when a door finally does open. I just have to be ready to go back to work. So, yeah, for sure. And I just thank God for how He just prepares me for the next season, prepares me for what He has for me. You know, I just thank God for that. He doesn't just throw me out there, but He prepares me, you know. So I know my waiting season is not in vain, it's preparation, for sure. Preparing me for whatever's next, preparing me for the job that God has for me, preparing me for greater. So the waiting season is necessary, you know. We don't want to be such in a rush, that we rush our current season, that we get to the next season prematurely, where we're not even ready, because we didn't learn whatever lessons we may have needed to learn in our current season, because I believe there's lessons that we have to learn in every season in life. The waiting season, increases our patience, increases our faith, help us to trust God, more, so increase our faith, increase our patience to be able to wait, to know that, we're not going to always have everything immediately. We may want something fast. We may want the fast thing, like, just thinking about going to fast food restaurants and, we may not feel like cooking or, stuff at home. So we'll just go through the drive through so we can get that fast food. We don't want to wait for something to cook in the crock pot or cook in the oven. So we want that fast thing, or maybe we'll just come home and throw something in the microwave, something quick and fast that I call that microwavable blessing. I call that the microwavable blessing. We want that fast blessing. We don't want to have to wait. We don't want to have to suffer. We don't want to have to endure. We don't want to have to go through. We just want it quick and fast and in a hurry, you know. But that crock pot blessing, that blessing that we gotta wait on, that blessing that, God, is preparing for us, that blessing that's still in the oven, that's still baking, that's still cooking. It ain't ready yet. I call that the crock pot blessing, you know. So we want to wait on God for what he has for us. We don't want to just accept the fast thing. We don't want to just, accept the microwavable blessing. We want to accept the crock pot blessing. We want to wait on God for what he has for us, you know? And it's not always easy to wait. It's not always too easy to wait, Just think about, we wait on so many other things though. For ladies, we go to the hair salon and we may be getting our hair done and it may take hours, but we sit there and wait. We go to the grocery store and we may have to stand in a long line. We stand there and wait. So we wait for so many other things. So why not wait on God? Why not wait on God? When we wait on God, it's not a waste of time. We may not always understand why we're waiting. We may not always understand, what God is doing in our life. It may seem like God is doing nothing, but just because it seems that way, that doesn't mean God is doing nothing. I believe God is always working behind the scenes, even when we can't see it, because God never sleeps and he never slumbers. So that says that he's always working. When we sleep, he working, Hello, Michaela. Happy Monday. How are you? Hi, K-Dog. Happy Monday. God bless you. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. So I just pray that you guys just be encouraged, trust God. Trust God, Don't give up on God. God is able. God is able. Just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean that it never will, Just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean that it never will, So just be encouraged. Be encouraged. I remember just, the season of waiting on God for my license, back in 2014 when I first got my permit. This was over a decade ago, right? And I was believing God for my license. I didn't have like, people in my life that was, either they was available to teach me or they just wasn't available, whatever the case may be. I didn't have that. I didn't have the money to really, go to driving school and stuff like that. And I did go to this one driving school. I believe it was between the years 2017 and 2019. And, I didn't have the right instructor. And she pretty much was telling me like, yeah, you need consistent practice. You need consistent practice, practice other than me. So other than her, like the driving instructor. And I didn't have that. So that was the whole point why I was going to driving school. So I was like, okay, well, there's no point in me to continue if I'm not going to be able to get my license because I don't have consistent practice other than a driving instructor. So I used to pray and, ask God, to send somebody in my life that could, teach me how to drive. And so just the thing is, just because I had the desire to drive doesn't mean people had the desire to teach me, So it was an impossible situation, it was an impossible situation. Some people, they weren't available to teach me. Some people, they did, I think it was maybe one person didn't want me to be, use her car, then some people I think had like anxiety and they were anxious about me getting behind the wheel. I did have one friend was in my life and she did like maybe gave me like one or two lessons, but then it would never happen. It wasn't consistent. And then I did have a cousin that gave me maybe some lessons as well, maybe one or two, but it wasn't consistent. And then I had someone else, that was she offered to give me like a lesson or so, but it wasn't consistent. So I didn't have consistent practice. And in order to learn how to do something, we have to have consistency, right? We can't just do something one time and then wait 6 months and be like, oh, let me do this again. And no, it's like starting over each single time. And so I would pray for God to just bless me with somebody to come in my life and teach me how to drive, and someone patient, compassionate, etc. And it just never happened. So this is, like I said, I got my permit in 2014, and then come 2024, so we're 10 years later. 10 years later, and God used this resource to pretty much pay for another driving school for me, where I didn't have to come out of pocket. So I started with my another driving instructor at the end of October, beginning of October 2024. So this is my second driving instructor, right? And so it didn't work out. That driving instructor wasn't the right one for me. And just a lot of stuff that was going on that I end up having to report. And then they gave me another driving instructor at the end of October. So that was my third driving instructor. And so she was patient, compassionate, and just everything I needed in a driving instructor, right? But it wasn't consistent practice, because of, certain things, with her. So I didn't have consistent practice, because she wasn't available or whatever, you know. So yeah, so that was the third driving instructor. And so, I just didn't think it was God's will for me to get my license. But keep in mind, I got my permit in 2014, and it just never happened. Years and years went by, and there was setback, 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 after setback. It was just so much stopping me that was in the way from me getting my license, specifically not having someone, in my life that was willing to teach me how to drive, or be available to teach me how to drive. So then in January 2025, God blessed me with another driving instructor. So now this is the fourth driving instructor, and she was compassionate, and nice as well. And we had consistent practice for the most part. I know in February, I believe we did have some snow in February here. And so that was when it couldn't be as consistent. But outside of that, we was pretty much consistent for the most part, from January all the way until end of April. And then I had almost 50 driving lessons between October 2024 all the way until the end of April. And then May the 1st, 2025, I took my driver's test and I got my license. I passed my driver's test with flying colors, and I just thank God. I couldn't have done it without God. I just thank God for how He used the resource to provide for this driving school for almost 50 lessons. So I don't know how much it cost, but I know it wasn't cheap. I'm sure it was 5,000-6,000, if not more. So I just thank God for how He just provided and paid for every lesson for me, how He used that resource to literally pay for every single lesson. And I was able, for my driver's road test, I was able to use the driver instructor's car to take my road test. But keep in mind, I don't have a car yet. So I just thank God that not only did He provide for me, but He also made it where I could use my driving instructor's car so I could take my driver's test. And I just thank God for that as well. May the 1st, I took my road test. I passed. And then my license came in the mail July 2025. And when it came in the mail, I was like, I opened it. When I opened it, I was just praising God. Like, I was just in overwhelming tears of joy and just thanking God, because this is something I thought would never happen for me. Like, I really was thinking it wasn't in God's will, because it didn't happen. In 2014 is when I had first got my permit. And here we are in 2025, and this thing finally happened. So I want to encourage you guys. It don't matter what you're waiting on. It don't matter how long you've been waiting. It don't matter if it's been 5-10 years. If that's God's will for your life, it will happen in His timing. So be encouraged, because just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean that it never will. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean that it never will. And I just thank God. I'm just so grateful. I thank God for blessing me with my license. Now I'm just believing God for the car. Now I'm just believing God for the car. I passed the roads test May the 1st. License came in the mail in July. DMV is a process. So license came in the mail in July. And here it is, almost February. I'm just believing God for a car. July will be a year. Well, May will be a year since I passed the test. but I'm just believing God for a car, you know. And so I don't believe God just blessed me with my license for me to just have my license. I don't believe that. I know he's able to provide the car. And again, me getting a car, that's another impossible situation because keep in mind, I don't have a job. So I'm unemployed. Yesterday made 11 months for me since I've been unemployed. So I'm almost at a year. Yeah, I'm almost at my year. 12 months is a year. So literally yesterday made 11 months to be exact. So I don't have any money to put down to put on a car, you know. So that's another impossible situation. Me even getting a car, that's a whole nother impossible situation as well. So I'm just believing God, you know. I know he's able, the same way he provided for the driving school, you know, bless me with the right driving instructor, bless me with my license, you know, allow me to use the driving instructor car to take the test to get my license. I know God can bless me with the car, you know, in his timing. So I just have to wait, you know, just like I waited on my license over a decade. So prayerfully, it won't take that long for the car because I don't want to lose everything I learned, you know, when it comes to me driving. So yeah, because keep in mind, I got my license. I passed the road test on May the 1st. I haven't been behind a wheel since May the 1st, you know, because now that I passed the test, I'm no longer getting that practice with my driving instructor. You know, we don't even see each other no more because, you know, I'm done with everything. So I'm not getting no practice. I'm not getting no more practice, you know, so I haven't been behind a wheel since May the 1st. And that's really not good, you know, for me not to be getting no practice at all. So I'm really just praying that it don't be years before God bless me with the car because I would hate to forget everything I've learned and, you know, have to start all over from scratch, you know? So, yeah. Hi, uniquely Ashanti's Corner. Happy New Year as well. Happy New Year. Let's see. I'm doing well. How are you? Yes, when the timing is right, for sure. God's timing is perfect, for sure. Are you still looking for work, Ashanti's Corner? I'm glad you're doing well. You're welcome. And thank you. You still looking. You say you still on the hunt. Okay. Me too. I'll be like I'm still fishing. I ain't catch no fish today. Um, well, I did come up with this. There was this job that I found. I think was it last week? I think it was last week. Yeah, it was last week I had found it. And it looked interesting. It was pretty much saying part-time or full-time available. And it was the pay was pretty good. I think it was like between 17 and 20 an hour. It was something like that. Or was it between 20 and 25? Either way, it was good. More than what I made at my last job. So that's increased, right? And so it was interesting, and the position is, it was saying it could be work, this position can be done like in remotely or in office, which means I would have the option to work from home, and that's definitely what I was going to pick. That would be so much easier for me, especially since I don't have a car, you know. So it would be so much easier for me to have a work from home job, not have to worry about how I'm going to get to work. And so I was interested. And as soon as I saw, I had the phone in my hand when I saw this job on Indeed. And as soon as I saw it said remotely, I dropped the phone. I had literally threw the phone. And I was like, thank you, God. You know, I was just so excited when I saw remotely, right? And so I applied. And the same day I heard back, same day the employer reached out to me. It was on last Tuesday, I believe. Reached out to me and, you know, was asking me, you know, for, you know, thanks for applying XYZ, you know, are you available? We interested, you know, scheduling a time to chat, you know, etc. And I told him I was available Wednesday. I said, well, on this was last Tuesday. So I told him tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday. And so the rest of Tuesday came, didn't hear anything back. And then the rest of Wednesday came, I didn't hear anything. And then Thursday came and I didn't hear anything. I said, let me call. So I called on Thursday, and come to find out, I think the employer said they had an issue with their phones or something. And so they apologized for not responding back to my message or whatnot. And they asked me, did I have time to chat, right then on the spot on the phone right then. And I said, yeah. And so we chat, and but the position that was posted online was different than what the phone call was about. The position said part-time or full-time available. It said you can work remotely or in person. The position can be done remotely or in person. Then when I get on the phone, and the employer's like, this is full time. I'm looking for someone to work full time. I'm looking for someone to be my right hand. And I'm like, well, here it says part time or full time available. I was literally looking at it. And I was like, and it says remotely. They said, no, this position is in person, and just all of this extra stuff, right? And so it just wasn't the one for me because I need part time. And they were specifically looking for full time. But the position online says part time or full time, and it says this can be done remotely or in person. But on the phone, the employer is said they're looking for full time, and it's done in person. And so it was just kind of like, okay, okay, Lord. And I was kind of like, okay, I was excited, I was like, I thought that was it. It be like that, right? I thought that was it, but the posting that was online was not what it was. It's misleading, to be honest. It's really misleading because the position saying one thing online, and then when you actually talk to the employer on the phone, it's a whole nother different ball game. So I was like, okay, Lord, okay. That just wasn't for me, is what it is. And so moved on. And so I'm still looking. Yeah, I'm still looking. So yes, I looked today. I didn't see anything. So I didn't catch no fish today when I was looking. So yeah, I'm still looking. So yeah, it was pretty exciting. It definitely was exciting for sure, because it is, I felt like it's very, very misleading, because like, no, it's like they didn't even know what the posting said. Like, oh no, well, it depends on the location, but I'm definitely looking for full time. I'm looking for someone to be my right hand. I said, well, here, because they was asking me about, being in person and full time, is that an issue? And then that's when I brought up about, well, here it says, part time or full time, and it also says position can be done remotely or in person, or in office, whichever what it said. And it's like, no, this is in person. We have a lot of walk-ins, and it would be nice if it could be that for pregnant women. They was mentioning stuff like that as well. And so it just is what it is. I was excited, but at least I didn't have time to get too excited, because I applied on Tuesday. 2 days later, I found out the position that said the position that was online really wasn't the position that. And I remember something similar to that happened before. I had saw a position on Indeed, and I was like, that's interesting. And I called the number, looked up the company, make sure it was real, and because you gotta do that nowadays. And then they was like, yeah, that position, we actually aren't hiring. We've been trying to take it down, but we actually aren't hiring. And they was like, we're sorry. And, they apologize and stuff like that. So then some of these positions that are online, they're not even supposed to be on there. Like, they people try to take them off, and they it looks like they're hiring. But then if you call, no, I'm sorry, we're actually not hiring. So things like that too, for sure. Let's see. Oh wow. I'm sorry that happened. That's crazy how they change things up like that. That's very misleading. Yes, for sure. Most definitely. For sure. That happened with another job before. It was part-time, and then I was supposed to have an interview. I went to the interview. Well, it was like an online video interview through Indeed. And it was like I logged in. It's like the recruiter will be there shortly. And the recruiter never showed up to the interview. So I call that ghosted. Like they literally never showed up. And then about maybe a month or two later, they sent me a rejection letter. I was like, what? But then they changed the position from part-time to full-time. I don't know why jobs do that. I don't know why jobs do that. Like you said, I had applied for a role last week, and they reached out. Let's see. And they reached out for me to do a questionnaire to test writing skills. I completed it, but messed up on one minor part. Okay, I got you. Well, hopefully, if that's the job that God has for you, you said they reached out to you to do a questionnaire to test writing skills. I completed it, but messed up on one minor part. I just pray for God's favor. If that's the job that God has for you, it don't even matter that you messed up. God's favor can override that, if that's what He has for you. So be encouraged. You said, not sure if I'll get it because the job emphasizes for someone to be detail oriented. Ooh, okay. And with me missing that detail, I don't know at this point. In my defense, I was pretty tired. I got you. I got you. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. So be encouraged, if that's what God has for you, He can make it right, He can make them overlook that detail that you miss, that part that you messed up on. Let's see. If I don't get it, then it's a learning lesson and maybe not for me. I know I was a little iffy about the company. Okay, so yeah, if you was feeling some type of way, then that probably wasn't for you then, for sure. I know it may be some jobs I may see online and the description may be so long. Like, and if I can't, this is how I look at it. If I can't read the description, it's not for me. Like if I can't sit there, if I don't have no interest to even like, because if the job is popping out, I'm gonna take time to read that description. But if I'm like the title is like, and then I see the long behind description, I'm like, and you just don't, sometimes you just don't want to read all of it. It's like, okay, you know what, that ain't for me. Or sometimes I may just stroll, and maybe I'll see bachelor's degrees or associate. Oh, okay, click away. I don't have none of that. All I got is a high school diploma, and I have some college but no degree because I never finished. So yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, there is another job that I did apply to. I think, was it last week? Yeah, I think it was last week that I saw as I was strolling, and it wasn't on Indeed though. I had went to Google, and I believe I had typed in Google, you know. I mean, I went to Google. I went to Google and I typed in part-time, jobs in my area, what a certain field that I'm looking for in my area. And then I looked through that as well. And it was this one position that stood out to me. And I was like, and I read it. I said, it said part-time. I think the pay was like 17 to 20 an hour, which is not bad. Because where I was at, I was making 12 something. So that's more than that's more than what it was. I mean, more than I was making than what I was making. 17 to 20 an hour versus 12 an hour. Because I was making $12.60 at my last job, the one I lost last year. So yeah, $17 is increase, Because I mean, right now I'm making nothing. So, I look at it like that too. So yeah, so also, I think I do want a job where I'm making at least $20 an hour because I'm just thinking about it would be nice if I could be making could almost double than what I was making, or close to it. But 17 is still not bad if compared to 12 or zero for that matter. And so when I saw this position, and I had never, I don't think I heard of this company before, and it was saying it's a remote job, part time. And I said, okay, there go that remote. So I looked that company up online on Google, and I said, okay, this looks like a legit real place. I said, okay, phone number, address, everything. I said, okay, let me call. And I called, like the employer picked up, or the lady, and she was like, yeah, this we are hiring for that position. I said, yeah, I just want to call to make sure because there's a scam. I told her about scam. She said, oh, I understand. And it's really something that we have to do that or something. She said she understood. And she said, we are still hiring for that position. I told her about my search with work and stuff like that, how it's been. She said, I'm really, I'm sorry to hear that. Go ahead and put your application in. And she was like, I also want to let you know that our applications are received on a rolling basis. And that she was pretty much saying that there's like no close date, like no deadline. So it's not like you can apply today and the close date don't be till like, March the 1st. But there, which is actually good, that's good. There's no deadline as to where, it's, March the 1st is like, some jobs you can apply to and it'd be like a 2 or 3 week close date, which means they're not going to view your application until that close date. But this job, they're like, we're accepting applications on a rolling basis, and there is no like deadline or close date, she was pretty much saying. But she was pretty much also saying that, I don't know if she said first come first serve or something. If I don't hear back, then that means the position was filled, or I just didn't get the job. So it sounds like they're not going to be sending rejection letters out, which is good. At least she told me that up front. At least I know if I don't hear back, and I would say about 2 weeks, then I can just be like, okay, it's probably been filled, or maybe they're still accepting applications, because they're accepting applications on a rolling basis. So it sounds like it's like first come, first serve. It's not to the point where it's like, oh, we don't have a close date till 3 weeks from today, which means you can apply today and we're not even going to look at your application until like February the 15th, just making up an example here, so yeah. But soon as you apply to this position, they look at your application right away, and they're pretty much, they can go ahead and move forward and go ahead and interview someone, and people still can be putting in their application, because the way the job is set up to be on a rolling basis. So they can be receiving applications right now, and they can go ahead and be reaching out, hey, we want to schedule an interview with you. And then people still can be putting in applications while they're interviewing and moving forward with other people. And you're not going to get a rejection email with these, you're not going to get a rejection email saying, because even when you apply, you don't get an email saying, oh, you applied, thank you for putting, you don't get that with these type, at least not this one. So yeah. I asked her, did I have to be in that location because it's not in my area? I said, did I have to be in that location to work here? And she said, no. She was like, it's virtual. But there are some places that you still do have to be, in that location to work there. Because sometimes it could be like about the time zone. If you're like PST, or they may want somebody that's CST or MST and stuff like that. But this position, it said it does, I can literally, it don't matter. It don't even matter that I'm not in that area. So that's good too. And it is fully remote, which is good because the position is not even here. So I wouldn't be able to go in person anyway. So yeah, that's good. Let's see. And I hear you about these companies when they keep changing details. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Exactly. Can you make up your mind, please? Yes, most definitely. Or then they'll take the job off, and then they'll email you. Hi, I'm the position you apply for is no longer available. We decided to take the posting down, altogether. Stuff like that. Or the position is temporarily put on hold. And just different stuff like that, right? And I know this one position, I had applied to this position. It was like yeah, I had applied. It was part-time, and I had applied, and it sounded interesting. And I have been called, and I've called a few times to try to check on my status, because it doesn't even show me on Indeed whether they viewed. I don't think it shows me whether they viewed or what. I'm pretty sure they seen it though. I'm pretty sure they seen it by now. And so I've been trying to call the office to get somebody on the phone so I can check on my status in person to see, if they viewed, and, what's the update. I can't even get nobody on the phone. I can't even get nobody on the phone. And it is a legit place. I literally know where it's at and everything. So it is real. It's not like it's not real. And it's an in-person job. And so the thing is, when you call and you can't get nobody on the phone, you hang up the phone, and I'll get a text message. And the text message is pretty like, thank you for calling, so and so. We are short staffed, and so it may take us a lot longer to, get to our phones or be able to call you back. Pretty much something like that. I'm kind of paraphrasing. And then I was telling my therapist about that, and I think she was kind of saying about that could be like a red flag if they're short staffed. And I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, if they're short staffed, I probably don't want to work there anyway. You know, if If they're short staffed, that's probably not the job for me. There's probably a reason why they're short staffed, so that may not be a good reason why they're short staffed. So yeah. Hi, Anthony. Yes, I am, and thank you so much. Thank you. To me, 17 to 20 an hour is good. Exactly. The way the economy is now, especially since COVID, companies are still recovering. That's why pay isn't always the best, especially for intro level roles. Oh, yeah, for sure. Were you able to apply to some jobs today? I couldn't really find anything. I guess due to MLK Day. Yeah, I couldn't find nothing today. I looked today and I didn't see not one job that was like apply here, which means it didn't catch my eye for me to apply. I think it might have been a position that was like, but it was full time. And again, I need part time. So were you able to? Oh, I read that. It always annoys me when 100% remote roles require you to be in certain time zones or state. I especially get irritated when I read the job ad, get a good feeling, then I see that list. Exactly. Exactly, for sure. Most definitely. Yeah. You read it, the description looks good, you feeling excited, and then you see bachelor's degree, associate degree, 5 years of experience, just stuff like that. And I seen this one job, I really couldn't believe it. It was like at least 7 years of experience or more. I was like, wait, what? That was crazy. Yeah, that was crazy. I don't know how employers think we're gonna get all this experience if nobody is not even giving us an opportunity to get experience. That that don't even make sense. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, 7 years of experience, that's wild. I can understand one or two or three, but 7 years, okay, now come on, that's too much. But I did hear about someone got a job. Someone was telling me that a person had been unemployed for 18 months and they just now got a job. And so that was nice to hear. So it's coming. People keep telling me, like, I was at church yesterday and a lady at church she told me, I was telling her yesterday, I think she asked me how I was doing or something. I think I said good, or I was like, still looking for work, because she knows I'm unemployed. I said yesterday made 11 months. Oh, well, yesterday was Sunday, so I was like, today made 11 months since I've been unemployed. And she was like, okay. She was like, it's coming. And a lot of people have been saying it's coming. So I believe, that's God speaking to me, letting me know that, it's coming, because I've heard that a few times now. So yeah, I know it's coming. It's just a matter of when it's coming. you know, I don't know when it's coming. Yeah, I can believe the 7 years. I remember someone mentioned seeing an entry level role that required 10 years of experience. Crazy. Yeah, that is crazy. That's exactly what I was thinking. That is crazy. Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Wow, 10 years of experience for an entry level role. Oh, no, that's crazy. That's crazy just thinking about it. And then I think, like, some of these jobs are just picky too. Like, they just want this perfect person that doesn't exist, right? You know, they want this perfect person that doesn't exist. Yeah. But, I know the job that God has for me. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna be able to look back and say, Lord, I thank you for those rejections. You know, thank you for not letting me get this job. Thank you for not letting me get this job, because it was preparing me for the job God has for me. Exactly. They want perfect people they don't have to train. Exactly. And that's the thing. I don't think many jobs want to train nowadays. And some of the job postings was straight up, if you do not have this type of experience, please do not apply. Some of them will tell you straight up. So at least they honest, versus applying and then getting a rejection in the same day. Some jobs will straight up tell you in their posting, in their description, oh, if you do not have this experience, whatever the job is, if you don't have this experience, please do not apply. Like, it's like they begging you to not apply if you don't have that experience. Like, don't even look twice, pretty much. Like, go ahead and stroll on by. So yeah, I do see like a lot of DoorDash. I've noticed a lot of DoorDash is hiring. Like, where I think you got to have a car for that, where you like drop people's like food off, I think, or deliver, people's groceries that they order online. And that would be interesting to do, but I don't have a car, so I can't do that. But that would be interesting. That would be an easy job. All I would be doing is driving, and shopping and dropping people groceries and dropping people food off to their door or however they want to receive it. They claim they're willing to train, but when you tell them the things you don't know but are willing to learn, nope. A lot of times that's not enough. At least certain jobs tell you up front. Exactly. Yes, some jobs do tell you up front. And that's the thing. That's how I feel. Like, I don't have a lot of experience, but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to expand. I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to learn. I want to learn new skills. So yeah, I'm willing to learn. If they willing to train, I'm willing to learn. Yeah. And I want a manager and employer that's patient and understanding, you know, to know that I'm learning, and I may not catch it all right away. It may take a minute for me to get it, you know. Just like my previous manager was very, supportive and patient and understanding, So I'm just praying that my next manager will be the same, for sure. Hi, Michael Cross. Happy Monday. God bless you. I pray you're well. And it's good that certain jobs do tell you out front, because then we don't even have to waste our time even applying. Once it say, if you don't have this certain experience, please don't apply, then you'll just know straight up, don't apply. I guess if we do still apply, we just don't be surprised if we get an automatic rejection, because they already said straight up. And some jobs, it may not tell you straight up, but it'll ask you in the application, do you have this type of experience, or how many years of experience of this do you have? And if you put zero, don't be we can't be surprised if we get rejected. So yeah. Through God, all things are possible. That's right, Michael Cross. Amen. Amen. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of people do DoorDash these days. I once read about one guy who's been doing it since COVID. He got fired from his job, has years of experience. I got you. Yeah, DoorDash is probably pretty easy, and you can pretty much set your own hours and stuff. You don't have a 9 to 5, or you can pretty much set your own schedule. So yeah, I just wish it was easier to find remote jobs. It's so hard and frustrating these days. It's what I'm trying to get, because that's what works best for me right now. I understand. I'm looking for remote too. Yeah, it would be so much easier because I don't have to worry about how I'm gonna get to work, you know? So yeah, it would be easier for sure to have a remote job. Especially with the weather being the way it is, like they talking about snow and all this stuff. Like we supposed to get, they talking about like snowstorm over the weekend. It's supposed to be in the 20s, like, and not having to go to work, be able to just work from home, not having to worry about going out in the weathers that we be getting. Yeah, that'd be great. Especially in the wintertime, not have to worry about going out in 20-degree weather. you know, be able to, because some jobs still be open in the snow. Some jobs don't care about that. Some jobs are still open when it's snowing, and to not have to worry about commuting to work and to be able to just hop on online, that would be great. And to have that flexible schedule too, have that flexibility when you work from home and that work life balance. So yeah. And when you get off, you're already at home. you you don't have to drive. You're already at home. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. No one's trying to be out in that weather. It makes me shiver just thinking about it. Exactly, for sure. I think it was in the 40s here today, so not too bad. I think tomorrow's supposed to be in the 30s, but Saturday is literally supposed to be in the 20s, and they're calling for like a heavy snowstorm here, and they're saying 80% chance. So I won't be surprised because 20 degrees is cold. That's cold enough for snow. I don't have to go out Saturday. I literally don't have to go anywhere. So I just thank God I won't have to go out in it or anything. So that's great. I know we have church on Sunday, but if we're getting all that snow that they're talking about on Saturday, if they're talking about Saturday and Sunday, they'll probably end up canceling service. If we really get inches of snow out there like they're talking about for the weekend, they'll probably end up canceling service, and that means I will be home Saturday and Sunday, and possibly Monday. just depends on how much we end up getting. So yeah. Hello. Let's see. Odo Hindy. Hi, happy Monday. How are you? Because I do like snow. I like seeing it from the inside. Like it looks so nice when it's coming down and once it's there and it's beautiful, especially if we get like 4 or 5 inches and it looks beautiful, you know? So yeah. I just don't really care to go out in it, especially if we get like a lot. So yeah, are you still exercising? How it's going? Exercise is going well. I know last week I didn't get any exercise. I guess with it being cold, I didn't get any exercise last week. Um and then this week I haven't got any this week yet. So we'll see. Thursday is supposed to be in the 50s, so I may actually be able to get out and walk on Thursday. So we'll see. I do have a dentist appointment on Thursday as well, so we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But I did recently just find out that my certain insurance plans, depending on where you live and stuff, you can go to the gym and the rec center for free. And so I'm about to be doing that. Well, not the gym because I'm not a gym girly, but the rec center, well, one of the rec centers here, they have like an indoor track, and so I just want to go just so I can get on that indoor track so I can walk inside, so I don't have to walk in 20 and 30 degrees because yeah, or 40 degrees because it's just too cold to be walking. And so I'm not really getting my exercise. Like I didn't get any last week, and I may get one day this week, and but then Lord's willing, next week I'm supposed to go to the rec center and get at least one day of walking in, at least 45 minutes on the track. Because normally it's 30 minutes walking, but if I'm inside, I probably can walk a whole hour. If I'm inside, I don't have to worry about being cold or anything like that. So if I'm inside, then I might can get a whole 45 minutes or 60 minutes in. So yeah. So I found out that I can go for free. I just got to go there, show my insurance card and my ID and all of that. And then I can sign up for the membership, and it will be free for me. My insurance will pay for it. And then I can go to the rec center. And so I may go to the rec center at least 3 days a week. So then that way I can because that's my goal, to move my body at least 3 days a week. So if I can go to the rec center 3 days a week, then I can do that. Let's see. I'm glad you're doing well. You said it's Tuesday there. Nice. And I'm doing good too. Thank you. Have you been doing any writing lately? Not really. Just my normal like writing because I do like meal plans and grocery lists and I may do like gratitude lists, but not no serious writing like writing a book or starting a new book or anything like that. No. Maybe on the days you can't exercise outside, you can do at home workouts. I'm always doing those, and they've really been helpful. Haven't done it last week due to not feeling well. Oh, I'm sorry you're not feeling well. I pray you feel better. And yeah, I did do an at home workout on January the 1st, right on New Year's Day. I think it was like 20 or 30 degrees outside. So I did do a workout right on New Year's Day at home, and it was nice. I did 32 jumping jacks, I did arm circles, I jogged in place, and I also jogged around in my place as well. I pretty much jogged around in my place and treated my place like I was outside walking or something. But I was jogging, so that probably was even better. So yeah. So Lord's willing, I'll be able to get exercising into exercising this week. Nice, that's good. That's really good for sure. I think maybe, yeah, I may get one day out of walking this week because Thursday's the warmest day. Yeah, because tomorrow I think it's like 30s, and then Wednesday I think it's like 30s or 40s, but then Thursday it's 50s, and then Friday it goes down, and then Saturday it's 20s, and then I think Sundays is like 20s or 30s. So if I want to get out there and walk, the best day would be probably Thursday, so I can get at least one day for sure. Oh no, I'm feeling 100% better now. Oh, nice. Good. I'm glad you're feeling better. Praise God. Praise God. Thank God for healing you for sure. Yeah, I just count, when I go into that grocery store and I'm walking around in that store, that counts as exercise too. Because today I went grocery shopping, and I also, you know, um, my steps have been tracking even since I've been home as well. Um, I'm at 1804 steps, 1,804 steps for today. And that's just by me going out grocery shopping, going out taking trash out, going up and down stairs, stuff like that, walking around in the store, walking from one store to another store. So all that adds up, and that can count as exercise too, because at least I'm still moving, walking around in my place, going from my room to the kitchen or my room to the living room, or, stuff like that. I did laundry today, so I was moving around for that. So at least I'm still moving my body. It may not be straight up 30 minutes walking at a time, but at least I'm still getting something. It's not like I'm just sitting all day, 24 hours. I'm still moving. So yeah, that's good. Let's see. Where do you typically look for remote jobs, if I may ask? I use Google, LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, and YouTube. I use Google, Indeed, LinkedIn, and Glassdoor. And also ZipRecruiter. I also use ZipRecruiter as well. Let me see if there's anything else on that list that I can. Oh, ZipRecruiter as well. Yep. Because Indeed, I can just type part time, and then I can hit my area, and then I can hit, well, to be honest, I can just hit part time and hit remote and just see part time, remote, and then whatever field I'm looking for, I can hit that too. And then I can see, what pops up, whether it's in my area or whether it's not. Because if it's remote, it doesn't matter too much. At least for me, it don't. But it may matter for the company, because they may be looking for a certain time zone that I'm not in or something like that. So yeah, because I know I have came across at least one job that was looking for a certain time zone that I wasn't in. So I was like, okay, that ain't gonna work. I also use Handshake. Okay. I never heard of Handshake. Okay, nice. Okay, nice. Okay. Thank God for just always providing. Thank God for providing for my groceries today. You know, I had $29 in my account. $29 in my account, and God used somebody to bless me with some money on Saturday. So I was able to use some of that for my groceries today. And my groceries today was $53.82. So I definitely needed some more. I knew I needed more than 29. So I thank God for providing. So I was able to get all my groceries for this week. So I thank God for that. I thought I was going to end up spending all my money. I thought I was going to have nothing left, but I ended up coming back and I still got $15 left in my account. I said, oh, okay, so I'm not broke. I still have a little bit left. Yeah, $15 can get me a case of water. It can get me another case of water, and it can get me, a few other things. So yeah. Because I'm just thinking about this snow. I might want to get one more case of water if they talk about all this snow, because I'm scheduled to go to the grocery store. I'm supposed to go to the grocery store next Monday to get next week's groceries. But if the snow come on Saturday and Sunday like they talking, I may not be going on next Monday. So that means I may need to get another case of water. And to be honest, I may want to get more food because I don't even know if I'm going to even be going to the store on the 26th if we have snow and stuff. And I don't have next week's groceries. So I'm like, I may need to go to the store maybe on Friday just so I can get a case of water. And maybe, like I said, I got $15 left. So I may want to get a case of water and maybe a loaf of bread, or some things like that, just in case it snows and I can't get to the store on next Monday because I don't have a ride to go or something, So yeah. So I may just have to take that into consideration for sure. I'm hoping it don't be too bad so I can still, be able to get to the store on the 26th and get my next week's groceries. So yeah, I'm just still kind of deciding if I should go to the store again on Friday with my $15, and trusting God that he's going to provide some more because he know we got a snowstorm coming and I may need to get next week's groceries on Friday. I may not be able to wait until next Monday. So yeah. So I'm just like, Lord, just help me not to worry about it. When I saw it, I was like, ooh, I still need next week's groceries, and they talking about all this snow. So yeah. I couldn't get but so much today because I was, like I said, I didn't have too much. So it's not like I could have got next week's groceries today because, like I said, I got $15 left. That wouldn't even have been enough for me to get next week's groceries. So I'm just like, okay. I was like, Lord, help me not to worry about it. Help me not to worry. Even if I get to the store Friday and just get another case of water, just in case I can't get to the store Monday, and then get a loaf of bread. I already got peanut butter and jelly stuff here, so maybe just get a loaf of bread. Get a few things that is, inexpensive. So yeah. Another thing that's a blessing. Yes, for sure. Another thing that's frustrating about the job hunt is companies forgetting to take down, old job ads. Oh yeah, I was mentioning that earlier. When I saw a job on Indeed I was interested in. I think it was remote. So I looked the company on Google, make sure it was real, saw the number and all that fun stuff, checked the reviews. I said, okay, let me call. And come to find out, the job posting was they were no longer hiring, and they was trying to get the post down, but I guess they just couldn't figure out how to take it down. And so to me it was misleading because you thinking they hiring, and then you come to find out that posting is old and they can't even get it down because I guess they didn't know how to get it down. So it was still there. But they did apologize, so that was nice. Hi, Buck Cannon. Happy Monday. I pray you're doing well. I can't count how many times I call to inquire about a job to be greeted with. Wait, I can't count how many times I call to inquire about a job to be greeted with, sorry. we already filled that role. We forgot to take it down. I run into that issue because some ads don't have dates. Oh yeah, some of them don't. Yeah, some of them don't have dates. Yeah, some of them don't have dates. Some of them do not tell you when they're posted. Some will tell you, like some will be like 24 hours and be like, okay, nice. But then a day or two later, the job posting has expired or is no longer available. Wait, what? This post was just there. And then you call. Yeah, we've got over 200 applications. So we are still reviewing applications. So that means, I mean, we got over 200 applicants. So we're still viewing applications. So that means that's probably why they took it down or closed it, because they got too many applicants. So yeah. So I remember this one position I called. They was like, we received over, I think it was 123 applications, and they were like, we haven't even had time. We haven't even had time to review applications. And so that's just how busy. So they're that busy at the company. It sounds like some jobs don't even have time to even review applications because they're so busy. So they don't even have time to review applications to hire someone to help them out, so they can be less, they can have more help, so they're not short staffed or whatever the case may be. So that's really something too. It's because it seems like apparently so many people are unemployed. If jobs are receiving over 200 applications, that just goes to show that so many people are out of work, for sure. And to me, it's just to be honest, it's just not enough jobs. It's not enough jobs out here for everybody that's out, for everybody that's looking for one. It's not enough. I'm glad you're blessed, Buck Cannon. That's right, we're beyond blessed. God is good. Well, at least the company apologized. That's good. Yes, for sure. Yes. Oh, yes, I can relate to the job expired tag. I remember I was trying to apply to a job that was posted very recently, but struggled because it shut down right when I was in the middle of it. Oh, wow. Yeah, that sucks too, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. You know, and you're right. There's not enough jobs, even through companies claim there are so many jobs. Nope. Mm-mm. Oh, I did have one job that I saw. I think it was on Indeed. Was like, about applying, and I think it was saying if you're receiving unemployment insurance or something, don't apply. And I was to fulfill your whatever it said. And I was like, wait, what? So they don't they're not sounds like they're not accepting people that are receiving unemployment benefits. That that's what that sounds like, which I don't receive unemployment benefits. So, I tried to apply for unemployment benefits and I got denied. So that don't even apply to me. But when I saw that, I was like, so it sounds like they're not trying to accept people that are on unemployment. So yeah. If there are so many jobs, why are so many people still unemployed? Exactly, for sure. And then just also, like I said, I don't want any job. There's fast food hiring, but I don't want fast food. I didn't done fast food. That's not for me. So yeah. And there may be like some clothing stores hiring, but I didn't done retail. That's not for me. So since I'm looking for a specific job, it just going to require me to have to wait longer, because I'm not going to just I'm not going to just settle for less. I'm believing God for what he has for me. And I don't believe I've been waiting for almost a year to take McDonald's, or to take, something I really don't even want, just to say, oh, I'm employed, I'm getting paid, but I hate my job. I don't want that to be my story, for sure. Uniquely said, wow, that's messed up. What do they expect someone to do in the meantime while trying to find work? Right. For sure. When I saw that, I think it was in all caps. And I guess because it's probably certain when employers, when you're on unemployment and you apply for a job that's, I think that employer has to do like certain things when it comes to you receiving unemployment, and maybe they just don't want to deal with that. So it might be somewhere around them lines. Yeah. But Ken said, I will continue to say he has your next job. He has been preparing you for your next assignment. You will have all of your needs met. Just know that God is making a way. Amen. Thank you. Thank you for your encouraging words. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what my next assignment is. That's something I've been praying about. Like, what does God want me to do in this season? And I just believe I've just been in a season of be still and know that I am God. I can testify on all that I say. Amen. Amen. Yes, God has definitely been providing for all my needs for sure. Uniquely said, I don't want to work in a job I'm not interested in either, but I understand why some do that. Right. Yeah, because some people have to, some people have kids to feed and they don't have the option. Some people really, they have to take whatever, so they can provide for their family. So I just, I thank God that it's just me, you know, that I don't have mouths to feed or anything like that. So I just thank God for that, for sure. It makes it easier that I don't have to just take anything. I can wait. I can wait on God for what He has for me. So yeah, the way the economy is, people are even getting jobs at companies with poor ratings because they don't have any options, taking what they can get. Right? Yeah, some people just have to. They don't have no choice. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. I'm just grateful that I'm in a position where I can be a little selective in the job choices. Yes, pretty much what I was saying earlier. Yeah, very grateful that I don't have to just accept anything. I don't have to just take anything just to say I'm getting a job. I'm very grateful that I'm not lacking anything. My rent paid, my bills paid. I thank God for how He uses different resources to provide for me, how He touches people's hearts to be a blessing to me, to sow into me. So I'm not even lacking anything. And I just thank God for that. It's not like I even need anything. It's not like I'm out here unemployed, but, no food, no drink, no clothes. It's not even like that for me. So I'm just really grateful, that all my needs are met. Like I'm not lacking nothing. So I just thank God. Even some of my wants, even on just last Wednesday, I had a hair appointment and that cost $75. I get my hair done once a month. And I had got my hair done on Wednesday and I paid that $75. And to be honest, I needed that $75, but I don't want to be walking around with my hair looking crazy. And hair is not for me. So I really need to go to the salon. So I go once a month. I paid that $75 on Wednesday. This was last Wednesday, the 14th, I believe. Yup, I paid that $75 on that Wednesday. And before that day was over, later on that evening, someone had sent me a $75 cash app. I was like, literally, God gave the money right back to me. Like, just like that. Literally, before Wednesday had ended, God had literally allowed someone to bless me with a $75 cash app. The same money I had just spent on getting my hair done, God gave it right back. And I'm just grateful. So God has definitely been showing me that he got me, that there's no reason to worry about anything. I'm doing the best I can with the little that I have. It's not that I'm out here recklessly spending. I'm doing the best I can, you know. So yeah. But Ken said if we let him do what only he can do, if we let him do what only he can, wait, hold on. If we let him do what only he can, we bring our troubles to him. But we always try to move on our own when we feel that he is not moving fast enough. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Speaking of hair, what inspired you to keep your hair in twists? Is it the best style that works for your hair, or do you just prefer it in that style? Um, let's think. I've been getting the twist since 2020, so it's been this summer will be 6 years since I've been getting the twist. Before that, I was getting a lot of braids. And I kind of just I don't care for the braids anymore. I don't care for the long braids that you gotta, it's heavy. I just didn't care about having that real heaviness on my head. And just the twist, it's just so much lighter. It's not heavy. It's very light. It's very easy to manage and deal with. I don't have to worry about struggling to try to put it up when I'm about to get in the shower. And, all I gotta do is throw my shower cap on. Like, it's just so much easier to deal with and manage. And I just kind of I got out with the braids. I used to get a lot of braids like kinky twists and Senegalese twists and box braids, and I don't care for that stuff like I used to. So all since 2020, I've just been getting the two-strand twists, and I've been enjoying it. Yeah, I've been enjoying it. And my hair has grown because when I first started getting the twist, my twist was so short. Like, I wish I had a picture. Like, my twist was so short. If I find a picture, I'll post it on here. But yeah, my twist was so short when I first started getting the twist compared to now. So it's been almost 6 years, and my hair has definitely grown for sure. For sure. So I think I just like it this way. Yeah, better than the braids. I just like having that lightness and easy to manage. And when it's time to take it out, it doesn't take hours and hours. It takes literally 30 minutes or less. So yeah, it's just so much easier for sure. But Cannon said, if we had a life without strife, we would not have a testimony. He never said that it would be easy. That's true. He never said it would be easy, but he promised, that he'll never leave us, nor forsake us. So yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah. All right, you guys. I pray that you guys have been encouraged. I'm gonna get ready and go. It's getting a little late over here, but I pray that you guys, enjoy the rest of your night. Um, So yeah, you say you're not really into extensions either, weaves or wigs. See, I used to be into the braids and the fake hair, but I just lost desire for all of that. I guess the closer I got to God, maybe some of those desires were starting to leave. So yeah, I just been wearing my hair natural all since 2020. So yeah, and thank you so much, and good night. God bless you as well. Take care. Be encouraged as you continue to look for work. Lord's willing, I do plan on looking again tomorrow. I normally try to look Monday through Friday, and then I don't look Saturday and Sunday. So you got to take a break. So yeah, sometimes it's Monday through Thursday. It just all depends. But yeah, I just pray that you guys enjoy the rest of your beautiful day. I mean, beautiful day or beautiful night, because I know everybody's different time zone. So God bless all of you, and remember that God loves you so much.